Welcome everyone to today's video. My name is Dimitrov from the DimitrovBoelee Piano Duo. In today's video, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about note reading. During my last week of teaching, I realized that a lot of people actually have trouble reading notes. And in this video, I'm going to address the very beginners, people who are completely new to piano playing and just start playing piano, and they of course need to learn reading notes, but I'm going to also address people who are a little bit more advanced, people who are even intermediate. In my experience, I've seen people who can play already pieces from Schubert, Chopin, Beethoven, even Brahms, and they don't feel comfortable reading notes. And so if you're one of those who is already playing some more complex pieces and you're thinking, oh, I can read notes, I can play already pieces, this video isn't for me, just make sure that you really know that you can read notes. Before I move to the piano and show you the two exercises that I want you to do in the future if you want to improve your note reading, I want to tell you that sometimes even us as professionals, we have to think about certain notes before we play them. But that's a very different story than actually doubting and being hesitant constantly about note reading. So, for example, if I play a piece of music, when I have very high notes with extra lines written above the staff or under the staff, I have to sometimes think, oh, what was this note? Because I don't use it a lot. But if you play standard note on the G clef and on the F clef, and they're within the staff, not too high or not too low, and you keep doubting about those notes, that means that you have a problem with reading notes. So yes, the only time that you're sort of allowed to doubt about notes is when they're really, really high or really low. Notes that we don't use very often. But anyway, enough of the introduction. You know what this video is going to be about. You already know if this video is going to be for you. Let me turn back to the piano and show you two exercises. Like I said, I'm going to show you two different exercises that are definitely going to help you improve your note reading. Now, like with everything, you need to be consistent with this. If you do it once in your life, it's not going to work. If you do it once a month, it's also not going to work. You have to do this every day, or you have to do it every other day. Just think of it as something on a consistent basis. The first exercise is going to be very simple. You pick any book you have, and of course it would be better if you are a beginner to pick easier books, and if you're a little bit more advanced, just to pick books that are matching the level of your piano playing. And so you open your book at a random page, like this. You open at a random page and you pick a bar. So for example, we're going to pick bar 18 of this piece. You don't even need to know what the piece is. It doesn't matter. And so you will see now the bar also on the screen, so you know exactly what I'm going to do. You're going to look at the bar and you are going to have a piece of paper like this. Music paper where you can actually notate, where you can actually write notes. Or if you don't have that, it's very easy. Just draw 5 lines and you're set. You're ready to go. What we're going to do is, so you have your book, you have your notebook where you're going to write things down. You're going to, now, if you're tempted to play, please close the lid of your piano. The exercise is not going to involve, the first exercise is not going to involve any playing. What you're going to do is you're going to start with the right hand, for example. It doesn't matter which hand you start first with. And you're going to name every note of that bar. So we're going to start that we have an A sharp, we have a G sharp, we have an E, right? What you're going to do is, you see on the picture, you will see that you have the bar, right? So the first note, you're going to start with the uppermost note of the right hand. That's going to be an A sharp. So you're going to draw an A and you're going to put a sharp. The next note under the A sharp, as you can see, is a G sharp. So here, you don't have to write them one on top of each other. You can just write them next to each other. It's just a note exercise, writing G sharp. Then the lowest note of the chord in the right hand is an E, so you're going to draw an E. Then after that you're going to move to the next note to the right, that's a B, right? And so you name it and you write the B. You get the gist. Then you go and you do the same with the F clef, and you're going to go and see the first notes. The first notes you're going to name are the C and one more C under it, right? So the purpose of this exercise, as you see, is because we have the piano lid closed. The point of the exercise is to look exactly at each note separately, and you need to see on which line or on which extra line the note is written, and you have to do the exact same thing on the piece of paper. You have to write that note on the exact spot and naming the note while you do that. And of course, you can also pretend like you are very smart and copy everything from the bar without thinking even what the notes are, but then you're not going to benefit from the exercise. The whole purpose of the exercise is that you name the note, you say first what the note is, and then you write that same note on the right place on the piece of paper. Of course, I didn't complete the bar because I wanted just to illustrate what the exercise is, but make sure that you complete the bar and do that every single day. It's going to take 5 minutes of your time, and you're going to benefit enormously from just trying to every time think what the note is, naming the note, and then writing it down, because writing down the note on a piece of paper is going to make the connection in your brain of, okay, this note is called G and it is on the second line for the right hand, or this note is called D in the left hand on the F clef and it's written on the third line, the line in the middle of the staff. That's going to create connections for you. That's exercise number 1. Exercise number 2 is going to involve playing. Now, that's where people make a big mistake. They usually play without even thinking, and what's even worse, they play from the beginning every time a piece, and that makes it much easier for them to learn it, to memorize it, and they never think again what the notes actually are. In this exercise, you're going to simply open the book at a random page. So for example, we can pick, for example, bar 62, let's say, of a piece. Doesn't matter what piece, right? You pick bar 62. I'm going to again put a picture here on the screen so you can see it. And now bar 62, maybe you've never seen even the piece, you don't know what it is, it's just a random bar, but that's a great thing to exercise, because when you don't know it, you will have to think. And what you're going to do, this exercise is going to simply involve playing that bar, finding your way through the bar very slowly, right? You just that's it. I looked at the bar and very slowly thought, okay, this is the next note, this is the next note, and then it repeats, and then the small notes. And in total you have 2 exercises, 2 random bars. One of those bars you just write down, and the other bar you just play. I don't think that these 2 exercises are going to take more than 5 to 10 minutes, depending on how fast or how quick you are. So I don't think it takes that much time, and you can do one exercise one day, and the second day, the other exercise. You can be creative with that. But the point here is that you just want to trigger yourself to think, to trigger yourself to realize what the notes are, to be more conscious about the notes you're playing, because I see a lot of, for example, I'll show you a bad example of somebody would have this bar 62, the one that I just mentioned, and they would just that isn't note learning, that isn't note reading. That is basically a bad ear training. You're kind of training your ear to recognize, oh, does this make sense? And you just keep on repeating, keep on hitting the wrong keys until you at some point think that you hit the right keys, and sometimes it's not even the right keys. So it's a big mess. I wouldn't do this. I would very consciously think about the notes and think before you play, as you think before you speak. Keep in mind that you can come up with so many different exercises for reading notes. in this video, I wanted to share with you only 2 simple things you can do in order to improve your note reading. And by the way, before I finish the video, I wanted to just ask you, do you know how well actually you have to read notes? What do you think is reading notes well? In my opinion, reading notes well is something like reading books well, right? When you read a book, I mean that you have to be able to read notes as you read letters. When you open a book and you read that book and you see the letter S, you don't start counting A, B, C, D, E, until you find the number of the letter S so it makes some sense to you, right? You see the letter S and you know what an S means. Yes. Sorry, that wasn't called for. So when you see the letter S or any other letter, you don't think about that letter, you don't count it. You just read, you recognize the letter. The same has to be with note reading. When you see the note D, like again, I'll mention bar 62 because we were just there. When you see the note D, you don't think, what is this note exactly? If you can't name the note right away without thinking, then that means that you don't read notes well enough. You have to be able to read notes as you read books. And again, if you happen to have a note that is extremely high above the staff with extra lines on top, or too low with extra lines under the staff, that's okay because you don't use those notes very often. I would give an example as words. Sometimes you would read a book and you see a word that you really don't use that often, but it's very normal that you would have to check that in the dictionary, right? Or you have to think a little bit, oh, where have I heard this word? What did it mean? That's something very normal. But if you read the word water, you don't doubt what water means. The same is with note reading. The common notes, you have to be able to read them very well if you want to feel comfortable playing piano. Anyway, enough preaching, you got the point. I hope that you will do exercises to improve your note reading. Anyway, enough preaching, you got the point. I hope that you will improve your note reading because you will feel wonderful playing piano. If you enjoyed the video, give us a like, that helps our video. And by the way, subscribing would be wonderful. If you want to support our channel, you can subscribe to it. For me, recording this video for you was a great pleasure. If you have any questions on this topic, on note reading, or any other topic that's important to you, don't hesitate to leave a comment. Thanks for watching and see you next time.